The voice of Master Chief himself, Steve Downes, recently did an interview which seemed rather revealing, and I do mean that because we've heard these leaks rumors around recently about like how 343 actually wanted to completely recast the original voice actors of Halo, which sounds absolutely insane, but we've heard more stories coming out over the years that this actually was a thing. And actually, Steve Downes here, the voice of Master Chief, talks about his experience of how he had the audition for the role of Master Chief 10 years after the game was popular. He had the audition for his own role.
I was auditioning for Master Chief 10 years after I had been doing the role. The fans were not done with Halo, and they wanted more and they anticipated more. It was basically a whole new company that was going to be producing the game. Although they had decided that they were going to recast the voice of Master Chief, and Cortana had hired new people. They had recorded their parts. Everything was done. We were out. Now, I know none of this other than the fact that I'm not working at the time. And then that changed from people who were beta testing Halo 4 and said they loved the game, but they didn't recognize Master Chief and they didn't recognize Cortana. So that's how we got back involved in the game. And I remember, basically auditioning.
Okay, so that's interesting. By the way, if you guys like to do informational videos, like, subscribe is always appreciated, but let's get right into those details. I find that absolutely wild that Master Chief himself basically had to audition for the role of Master Chief. Like, what was going on over there at 343? But I think this kind of falls in line with what we've seen previously with 343, what they did with Halo, right? They really wanted to make it their own game, which is probably why we saw such a drastic change in art style for Halo 4, the complete armor remodeling of Master Chief, Cortana Halo 4 version, which was it was a version of Cortana, to say the least, on that one, I guess. But it's like, it's so crazy to think how drastically different they wanted to make Halo 4 compared to a previous legacy of Halo games that people already loved. Like, they already had a winning formula. They had the sauce, right? And then they handed it off to 343, and they basically just like tossed out the dish like Dennis. I think it really goes to show how badly 343 wanted to make their own voice in the Halo, make their own stand, make Halo their game, not just continuing on the legacy of Bungie. But I think it also falls in line with what we heard previously from Jeff Steitzer, who was the voice announcer for Halo, right? Like the double kill, triple kill guy, right? He mentioned something pretty similar.
There was a period when we first started with them. I know for
them
a
as in
fact
343.
there was a kind of a push to basically find all new people for the game. They were going to replace us all. And then for one reason or another, that didn't happen.
For much better than worse, I guess, for better or for worse, but this was for much better, because can you imagine just like out of the blue, just like a new Master Chief voice actor? Like, we've talked about this previously on the channel, right? We've talked about how like eventually like Steve Downes won't be voicing Master Chief anymore, right? Like, the guy is 74 years old. I'm not saying he's gonna croak and roll over anytime soon. I'm just saying like he's probably just gonna retire and call it quits and just like, live off his royalties, right? Like any normal person would, right? Especially at that age of 74, especially also getting pretty much past that age is where you really start hearing like some degradation in the voice, honestly. Like, we see like, you get like kind of that old person voice, which, Steve Downes doesn't have right now at the moment, but his voice certainly has changed a lot since Combat Evolved.
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
Compared to what he sounded like in Halo Infinite.
I should have protected Cortana. Stopped everything from going wrong. I failed her. I will not fail you.
You can hear like in the Halo Infinite version, its voice is a little more gravelly, right? A little more just like raspy in a way compared to where it was in Combat Evolved. A little bit brighter, a little cleaner, but that just kind of comes with age, right? Obviously, throughout the history of the Halo lore itself, like, Master Chief has gotten older. So that would make sense with Master Chief in the game to sound a little bit older as well, but especially when we're coming around here with a new era of Halo, right? With Halo Studios coming around, right? That they're going to be releasing a new game. Likely, what we've heard from leaks and rumors, it being a Combat Evolved reboot or remaster or something to do with Combat Evolving. We even saw like the classic MD6, right, or M6D, right, pistol, right, from Combat Evolved, the classic CE armor set as well in that Halo Studios reveal. And so it, would make sense, but like, the reason why it was such a jarring thing to hear from Steve Downes himself saying he had to audition for his own role is because like that was 2012, 2011, even probably 2010 even when they were trying to put this all together. So it's crazy to hear that like that much of a difference was made by like just the beta testers being like, hey, no, we need Steve Downes back. We need Jen Taylor back in here to do the voices for the characters. This actually kind of reminds me of like a fun story I heard from a friend of mine who did user research on Halo 4. Don't out me on this one, I guess, but whatever. But the interesting thing was I remember him telling me that he ran a lot of like beta testing for Halo 4 multiplayer. And apparently Halo 4's multiplayer actually had full-blown kill streaks in the game. But the weird thing was, though, is that from his experience with beta testing with user research, that people were actually enjoying the kill streak system. And then all of a sudden, one day, it just wasn't in the game anymore. And so when returning people came back to kind of like do like a before and after test of the user research experience, he was talking about how people were like, hey, what happened to the kill streak system? I liked that. And he would just go, I don't know. Like it just wasn't there anymore. But it's kind of weird. You can see like it reverted to much more of like a score streak kind of over time kind of kill streaky kind of, I don't know, Call of Duty score streak system. In Halo 4, which I was not a fan of. I liked, more classic experience of, controlling power weapons that are on the map. You just have to have map knowledge, which, they helped alleviate a little bit with Halo Infinite, but I digress a little bit there. But it's kind of crazy to think like, yeah, like if 343 just didn't have any pushback on how they were making Halo 4, that game would have been even more wild. I'm glad that 343 took that step back and brought Steve Downes back, brought Jen Taylor back for their iconic roles, right? It's because those characters were not done, right? Especially with Halo 4 being a continuation of Halo 3's story, right? That like it wouldn't make any sense to replace the actors, but I mean, I don't know. I guess, I'm not the one making the decisions over there. Now, we do have a completely new cast of characters over there at Halo Studios, now formerly 343. I know a lot of people out there cried on the comment section in every Halo video. Hey, I saw you. Okay, I see you guys out there, right? That, hashtag fire 343. Well, after Halo Infinite's release, you guys pretty much got that. I mean, yeah, they didn't completely kick out everybody, but anyone who's in a meaningful management role at 343 after the release of Halo Infinite is basically all gone now at this point, right? Besides like the community team, which of course, I mean, community team's always on point. I mean, like shout out to Uni and Sketch out there, but still, like it really is kind of like a new dawn, as Halo Studios kind of put it as well. And this would be a time where you would see new voice actors come in, right? If you're going to like reboot the franchise or something like that, that's when it would make sense. Call of Duty did a very similar thing. For Modern Warfare 2019, for Modern Warfare 2019, they did a complete reboot of the Modern Warfare franchise. I mean, they brought back some of your favorite characters like Captain Price, Gaz, Soap, and all the main characters you would expect to see in a Modern Warfare game. New voice actors, especially for Captain Price, which is one of the most iconic voices in the Call of Duty franchise. But it was so similar that honestly, I didn't even notice it at first until it was brought up. Me being much more of a casual Call of Duty fan, that someone could do something very similar with that. And again, we might get in touch also with the side things of when it comes to like AI and stuff like that. Like the Steve Downes and Jen Taylor have talked about this previously as well. I mean, no voice actor likes the idea of AI replacing them, right? It's a terrible thing to do, but I mean, if corporations want to cut costs, that's the one way they could do it, really. But like Call of Duty did a fantastic job of rebooting some of their more classic franchises, like the Black Ops series, like the Modern Warfare series, with new voice actors, but still hitting those same story beats and capturing the same vibes and feel that you'd want out of those types of games, which is something I would actually rather see for a Halo CE remake. It's more of a reboot, just a retelling of the original story, but hitting the same major beats, kind of like what we had here with Modern Warfare 2019. But new cast of characters, some are familiar, new story beats, some old ones kind of retold kind of thing, remixed in a way. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing this. I feel like I'm kind of getting a little ranty on this, but I still find it just absurd that you would do Halo 4, a continuation of Halo, the original trilogy, and then replace their voice actors, like without even telling them apparently, which is even more wild. But that just shows how 343 just really wanted to make their own version of Halo and now follow in the footsteps of what Bungie did. But if you guys enjoy these type of videos, like, subscribe is always appreciated. Catch you on the next one. Peace out.